So my girlfriend and I have been together for almost 2 years now, and she's the only girl I've ever dated. And I love her so much, but she can be really insensitive sometimes. And I'm starting to think I might not be able to get over this one. So here's what happened. So we were laying in bed talking about fantasies and stuff, and she started telling me about how she's always had this fantasy of being dominated by like a really muscular tall guy. At first, I didn't care. I was laughing about it and saying, well, sorry, I can't help you with that unless you're willing to give me a few years to hit the gym and see if I can pull it off. It didn't matter to me because it was just a fantasy. And it's not like I don't have any fantasies. But she says, well, you can never be that. I'm talking about someone like your brother. My brother is like 6 feet 5 inches, former defensive lineman. When she said that, I told her, excuse me, what's that supposed to mean? She said, oh no, I meant it like body type-wise. That's the body type that I'm attracted to. So I told her, you're saying you're more attracted to my brother than you are to me. She said, well, yeah, but just physical attraction. You can't get mad at me for having a type. Obviously, I was livid when I heard that, but I didn't want to seem petty. So I ended that conversation. Keep in mind that I'm not short. I'm 6 feet 1 inch. And I'm definitely not muscular, but I'm not too skinny either. So now my best friend thinks it's disrespectful and that I should break it up with her. To be honest, my self-esteem has taken a big hit. But is this really a good enough reason to break up with someone? Should I bring it up with her again and tell her how offended I am, or just let it go? Edit. Hey guys, so I didn't get to read all the comments yet. There's so many of them. But I feel like I gotta clarify this. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't really have a problem with her being attracted to a different body type. I'm attracted to a different body type than hers too. And I also don't have any problems with her fantasy being that she wanted to be dominated by said body type. I've got my own fantasies. My problem is with her saying that it's my brother, edit 2, after reading some more comments. A lot of people seem to think that this will lead to her cheating with him. Honestly, I don't see that happening because she really hates cheaters, and even if she wanted to do it, there is just no chance in hell my brother would do that. Comments. Imagine if you have told her you're attracted to her friends with bigger breasts and ass, or that she's not as attractive like your other friends, and then also tell her she'll never be like that. She would be pissed as all hell, and would give you crap, and rightfully so, because that's screwed up. It's truly something how she'll tell you easily. How she's attracted to someone else physically than you. Her own boyfriend. It's also more hurtful how she said you can never be that. And uses your brother as an example of what she's attracted to. It's demeaning. Even though it might sound like an honest comment from her. It's still insensitive of her to say they are things that people should just know not to say to others, and or say out loud. If you love her and want to keep this relationship going, you have to sit her down and have an honest conversation about this. Tell her that her insensitive comments, while sounding like harmless comments from her, actually hurt you and make you feel uncomfortable. Tell her that if you were to make comments about her, whether they be about her weight, looks, clothes, body, etc., she for sure would feel uncomfortable and would not like that at all. Just let her know this. Maybe she might understand if you show her that her comments can come off as hurtful, and that sometimes she just needs to keep her words and comments to herself. If she still doesn't understand, then maybe you have to rethink your relationship with her. Think about it. Will you really let your self-esteem and confidence hit rock bottom because of your girlfriend? No one deserves to be told that they'll never be what others are. Find someone who respects you first and foremost and loves you for your traits that you possess now as well as your flaws. Someone who can help you grow and develop as a person with a good character and heart. Original poster replied, thanks for the advice, I'll try this approach. Other comment. This is the equivalent of you telling her you wish she looked more like your favorite porn stars. It ruins women's self-esteem in the same way she ruined yours. This isn't something you need to forgive if you find it intolerable to think about. I'd say give it time for you to think it over, but don't be harsh on yourself if you can't move past it. Everyone has their limits. Update. Hey guys, so it turns out I may have been overreacting a little bit. I sat her down yesterday and started telling her how uncomfortable I felt because of what she said, and explained to her that I was hurt because of what she said. Because she knows how competitive my brother and I can be. At that point, if I'm being honest, I was fully prepared to break up with her if she didn't get it. especially because almost all of the comments on the first post were saying that it's a sign of disrespect. But she said that she didn't realize how messed up the comment she made was until after it happened, and she swears that she's never even thought about him that way, and that she was just thinking of guys who had the body type she was talking about. She also said that there is no other guy she'd rather be with sensually or romantically. She seemed really remorseful about the whole thing and even said that if I had said the same thing about one of her friends, it would have destroyed her, and she just kept apologizing, calling herself stupid and asking if I'm mad at her. So I told her to just forget about it. And I know how she doesn't think before she speaks sometimes, and I'm just glad to know that she didn't mean anything by it. So everything worked out for the best, and I've decided that I'm going to try to be less insecure from now on, and I'll also try to stop overreacting to stuff like that. Thanks to everyone who gave me advice, especially the top comment from the previous post. Thank you for the helpful advice. Edit. So I read some of the comments and to all the people that think she's lying and that she's going to cheat on me eventually. Let me tell you this. I know for a fact that she was telling the truth. I can tell whenever she's lying. We've known each other for a long time and she's not a very good liar. And I can safely say that she would never cheat on me. She's just not that kind of person. Update. So after we made up like a week ago, things kind of went back to normal for a while until we got into a fight over my coworker texting at 4 a.m. It was work-related stuff. I'm new, so I had asked her for some help. But she got really upset for some reason, even after I showed her texts. And there was clearly nothing going on. She got mad and shouting at me, saying, I'm being sued by not setting boundaries with my friend. And then when I told her that she's overreacting, she flat out said, don't act like you didn't go crazy when I said I wanted to F your brother. It honestly took me like a minute to process what she just said. I was shocked. So, I'm not proud of this. I got really mad too and said some nasty stuff about her, and she said some nasty stuff about me. And yeah, it's pretty much over. That was 5 days ago. At first, I was just so pissed at her that I was just glad she's gone. But now it's kind of hitting me that it's really over, and it's kind of hard to believe because I kind of always assumed we'd end up together. Never even imagined myself with someone else, so yeah. Even though she really pissed me off and said some messed up stuff, I still wanted to be with her. And really thought about fixing things until yesterday when my brother's ex, she's a friend of a friend, I see her occasionally, told me about how she noticed that my girlfriend was flirty with my brother once at a party last year. Now, to be honest, that ex isn't the most credible source. She's known for a lot of crap. And when I asked Josh about it, he told me that never happened, and he wouldn't lie. So either she's lying or he just didn't notice. Regardless if it was true or not, it just made me realize that I won't be able to get it out of my head. And maybe it is a me problem. I'm not sure, but her attitude about it definitely didn't help. So yeah, even though it hurts, I blocked her. Deleted all the pics and all that stuff, and I'm ready to start moving on. Life's kind of weird right now, but I just got employed recently. My first real job. And I'm excited for that, so I'm gonna be okay. Again, I just wanted to thank everyone for the great advice. Thanks Reddit comments when I said I wanted to F your brother. So it was him, not just his body type. I'm honestly just wondering how the hell you were supposed to set boundaries with your coworker when you're new. What are you supposed to tell every girl at the office? Well, make sure you don't ever text me. Though I've got a girlfriend buster. I know we met 3 days ago, but don't even think about it. Miss Missy. Seriously, what the hell sounds like she was trying to start a fight over nothing for the sake of it, to be honest? You're better off. Update. Hey guys. First of all, I just want to say that I'm not doing it to hurt my ex or anything like that. I'm just honestly so attracted to her friend. So, my ex and I broke up about a month ago because she said she had a fantasy to be sensually dominated by my brother, which started a fight, and it kind of just escalated from there. I've posted about it before. I realize this whole thing looks bad on my side and that people will probably think that I'm going out with her friend out of spite or to make her jealous or something like that. But I swear that's not it. I really, really like this girl. She's funny as hell and really cute, and she watches football, and I've got a major crush on her. We've been texting constantly for 2 weeks, and I can tell she likes me too. She's being super flirty and calling me cute and stuff. I really want to go out with her, but at the same time, I don't want to be that guy. As much as I dislike my ex, she still used to be an important person to me. So I'm not sure if I should do it. Or, nah. So I guess I'm on here to see what y'all think. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Edit also. I forgot to mention, she told me to keep it a secret if we ever go out. Apparently just until she's ready to tell her friend update. Hey guys, I'm back because I need more advice. I broke up with my ex over 3 months ago, and it definitely wasn't a clean, healthy breakup. We pretty much hate each other's guts now. I posted about it before. The problem is that my current girlfriend is my ex's best friend. So when we started dating, we figured it's best to keep it under wraps for a while. Especially because our breakup was only a month old at that point. So whenever we'd want to go out, we'd go somewhere far. So no one we know would see us. We almost only hang out at each other's places anyway. It also helped that everyone's quarantined. We successfully kept it a secret so far. In fact, the only one who knows is my brother. And we had to tell him because he's also my roommate. But now it's been 2 months, and the hiding that was fun at first is kinda annoying now, but my girlfriend still doesn't want to tell because she's afraid of losing her friend. She seriously told me that we should wait until my ex gets a new boyfriend. So now I'm really bummed at the whole situation and honestly don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Thanks again for the help, Reddit.
My boyfriend of 9 months purchased a home and said he bought it with me in mind, as we have talked about a future and wanting to have a family. We have had many serious talks about our relationship, and we've both met each other's families. He previously lived in a home for several years and has always thought about changing his living situation, and also wasn't sure if he even wanted to stay to live in the same city. To my surprise, he went to see a house without me knowing and put in an offer. Long story short, his offer was accepted, and he's made comments about how he thought about this house for us eventually. I'm not sure how to feel about it. I'm really happy that he got a house he really likes and at the price he got it for. But I feel we're not there yet to move in with each other. Also, in no way did I have a say in the decision of this house or the location, so I don't think him to say he got the house with me in mind is fair. He hasn't considered the commute for me to travel to work or anything that would be considered specifically to actually have me in mind. He bought this home 1 block away from his previous house, as he will be renting out that home now, so this home by default is a great location for him overall. I'm not sure how to feel about his comments and his expectations with me in the house. Additionally, I am a student, and the closing of his house happened to be the very busiest week of exams and assignments I had due. We had conversations about how I could not help him move, and there seemed to be an understanding. That week consisted of working on a presentation, studying for an exam, and working on a paper. Any other free time I had, I invested in self-care, such as working out or doing yoga. However, on one of those days, I posted a selfie where I was proud to have accomplished so much in the morning before going into work, and he got extremely upset about this. He went on to say, I didn't care to help him move, and that I didn't want to help him move, essentially, and made a huge deal about it, as he bought this house with me in mind. What do you think of this? Edit, to give more context. The house was bought entirely with his money. I have zero financial contribution to this. We never talked about a specific time frame when I would move in. It was a discussion about how it's something we both would want eventually. We did talk about how I would contribute when that time comes, in which I mentioned expenses such as hydro, utilities, internet, etc. I also made it clear that in no way was I expecting a free ride and not to contribute anything. That's just not my character. The selfie that was posted was a close-up shot of my face with sunglasses on and enjoying my coffee. I had made a list of accomplishments of tasks I did that day and wrote it in this picture. Meal prep? Done. Workout done. Coffee done. Sunshine done. Great way to start my day so far. Update. We basically got into a fight, and I blew up with resentment about many things. Wasn't right, but I just feel like I could not talk to him as I kept getting interrupted mid-sentence, denied everything I was saying, and accused of being something I am not. I realized that when we talked about the reality of me moving in with him, I mentioned that I could sell all my furniture but would want and need to keep my desktop computer, desk. His response to me was that he wouldn't let me have my own room for that and to get a laptop instead. The man has an entire room dedicated to his sneakers. When I also mentioned the commute and how I'd have to pay for parking as I take the subway to work currently, not a big deal in comparison to paying for the mortgage, but still an expense, he said there could be days he could drive me, then followed it up with, "But you don't ever drive me to work." He did not buy the house with me in mind at all. It's clear that this is his house, and he wasn't going to share his space in any other way besides how he wanted it. We had plans for me to come over on a specific day, but had also fought. I admitted and apologized that I could have put my anger aside and came to help. However, I wanted reassurance that he understood that if I have my own priorities and we discussed this, he cannot throw it in my face and tell me I did not meet his needs. I'm not saying, of course, that in any case I would not drop something for my partner in an emergency. I did not feel that he understood this. And when I tried to explain this, he said that I was retracting my apology. I just kept feeling constantly misunderstood and having to defend myself in this relationship with other issues as well. That was the end of that. Better to cut it off sooner than later and before taking the relationship to the next level of commitment. It definitely sucks. And I showed him this thread in which he of course was upset, saying he felt betrayed. He called me entitled, as he thinks I am, saying I bought it for me, which I am not in any way. He's missing the point for this post, in which I think he doesn't want to take accountability for not acknowledging he was wrong for throwing it in my face. The main point was guilt tripping and using the "I bought it with you in mind" response. Because clearly, even if the commute was not in mind, currently I live in an expensive area, so to not buy a house here is a valid point. The ability to actually live with him was not with me in mind. He really absolutely did not care about me as a person and my needs or even understand what a real relationship is. He skimmed through all 565 comments and screenshotted the best ones that validated him and sent them to me to prove he's a good guy. This is the man's side of the story. My ex, 36 not 34, female, made a post saying I, 42, male, told her I bought her house and has blocked me from commenting. How about I share some context? She only showed me this a few days ago, but for the past couple of weeks my now ex-girlfriend has been curating the truth to extract as much validation as she can from this situation and has prevented me from commenting or sharing my side. She admits that I actually said that I bought a house with us in mind. I did say that. When I first met her, I was moving away to LA. I had already lived in a home that paid off for 12 years. But when I met her, I decided that maybe it's best to continue to build a life here, and should things work out, we could figure out a future together. I had been looking at the market, and one day, an amazing house came on the block, for $300,000 less than it was a month ago. I pounced and went to see it. That night, I told her I saw a place. I even sent her the photos and said, I'm going to place an offer, which I did. She seemed to love the place and see how much of an upgrade it would be from my current place. This is a $2 million house with 4 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, and most importantly, a garage, as my cars kept getting stolen since I didn't have one at my current place. There was never mention of us moving in together right away. At the time we were together for 6 months, way too soon. We weren't even saying, I love you yet. And I did say that once actually, and she just didn't return it anyways. That being said, since we spend 95% of our time sleeping at my place when we see each other once a week, figure this would be good for us, and when it is time, we could move in together there and go from there. She loved the place. From what she said, this was supposed to be a positive. Now let's rewind though. 3 months into the relationship, she asked to borrow $4,000. I was not comfortable with it, but as usual, she made herself seem so much in need that I couldn't say no and just break up with her there, but now I realize I should have. She guilted me saying that couples have to work together and be there for each other and all that jazz. The fact is, within those first 3 months, I had brought her to Los Angeles while I had to be there on business, and the total cost of the week that she was there was around $3,000. Then, Over Xmas, we went to another city, another 2 to 3,000, as well as a Punta Cana vacation for 7,000. So after all that is when she decided to ask me. And you don't need to be a genius to realize that she chose me because clearly she pinned me as having the money too. Had this been my wife or long-term girlfriend, this wouldn't have been an issue. But 3 months in, this was a big flag and I talked to her about it. As usual, and as a pattern throughout this relationship, she would get extremely angry, lose her cool, and make me feel bad for questioning her character. So fast forward to me actually moving into this house over a 3-week period. She helped none whatsoever, never offered, and my own family, friends, and people who were working at the house asked me about it all the time. Oh, she has school. Oh, she texts me though, and so on. Completely missing in action until, of course, Friday or Saturday night, where she wanted to go for dinners or go to shows, that we did, of course. One day, once her exams had tailed off and she told me she was waking up early to write a photo, I saw that she posted a sunshine-kissed selfie saying, yoga, meal prep, coffee, sunshine, and I wrote to her privately, you know, I feel you could have at least offered to help in some way today. Again, she loses it, tells me, you know, you don't have to tell me something just because it bothers you, and then eventually she says, and I will never forget this ever. Don't you think you're expecting a little much of me for 7-8 months of dating? I was shocked. For some reason, pressuring your BF for a $4,000 loan 3 months in, but offering help in any way over a 3-week period is too much. I called it off, decided I don't need her, and this relationship wouldn't work with this set of values we don't share. A couple of days later, after trying whatever she could to flip this whole fight on me, constantly changing the goalpost as a pattern I had identified and made her aware of repeatedly over those 7-8 months, she eventually showed up unannounced, apologizing profusely and apparently seeming to genuinely recognize that it wasn't right, and she could have offered. I took some of the responsibility once she did, and said that maybe I could have been more direct as to when and how. We resolved. We started to laugh again. This was a fight that we would learn from, we both said. Well, last week we disagreed on another simple issue, and she blew up as she does, yelling, calling my life chaotic, calling me everything she can think of, and then says she resents me for wanting her to help with the house when she had exams. Basically, she took back the apology fully and stormed out of the house. I did not chase her. I did not text her, and I did not want to negotiate at all anymore. The next morning, she said she acted like that because I told her she was sucked. To be honest, I don't remember saying that, but I probably did, as she was having a massive blow-up. I apologized for saying that she is sucked because, after all, whatever I do is in my control, and tried my very best to get her to see that blowing up like that is her behavior to be accountable for. That's when she shared the original thread again. No words. Shocked that for a couple of weeks in the background, she had been farming all these comments about me, sharing our personal stuff, and curating it in a way to make herself look like, you guessed it, a victim whose boyfriend bought her a house. We met off the hinge. She asked to borrow $3,000 from me 3 months in, and I told her since then that it just didn't look good at all, and I'd hate to have something like that I couldn't even share with my friends, family. The facts are that she only shared as the relationship went on. She was over $40,000 in debt. Got fired from her nursing job because the educator had it in for her. Missed out on receiving funding from the school because of their online portal. Wasn't able to apply to graduate because the school didn't let her know properly. Hates her parents even though they gave her a car, paid for her exams, and other failed attempts at schooling in the past. Told me that her last relationship was toxic, and she didn't see a future with him, but stayed with him for 3 years, and when they broke up, he threatened to jump off their building. Same building she currently lives in, where 1 bedroom costs more than my previous mortgage did for the 12 years that I paid it. Overall, yes, I had reason to play it slow with her. I didn't want her moving in on a technicality, or making me responsible for all her bills or getting trapped if things didn't work out. I didn't buy her a house. I bought my house, in cash, paid in full, and she was well aware that. I bought a house because I had settling down in my current city in mind after meeting and had hoped it would work out. But here she is complaining about if she would have an office in it for nursing? A shoe room? I have 25 pairs of shoes in a closet. The spare bedroom would be for a baby's room, possibility if my future half is comfortable with that. Discussions would be had, but I realized that discussions would never be had with her. She has rage in her mind, a wild sense of entitlement, and at present time is currently getting evicted from her apartment and has no full-time job but all the time in the world to make Reddit posts for validation. This problem is solved. She is not going to move in, and I am accountable for my house and hope she becomes accountable for her house. I welcome any comments, questions, but I know I was dealing with a highly problematic person who will never truly realize her ways.